Howdy, y'all. Imagine if that was my accent. I wish I had an accent like this. Oh my god. That's so funny. Anyways, hi. I do have a serious topic for you guys, so don't watch. Leave now if you don't want to hear it. But I think this can relate to everybody, so you might want to stay a little bit, have a little tea party with me. I'll tell you guys a little story. Not even just a story, but some advice. Some cool advice. Yeah, so you know how when people used to say, oh, or when they still say to you, oh, you're too young to understand now. Okay, that's like a gigantic, notorious little quote from parents, from teachers, or even people older than you. Like, I used to hear that from my parents all the time. Like, if I wanted to, like, go have a funsy night with a friend, or maybe even a boyfriend, or even have a boyfriend, they'd be like, you're too young to date. You're too young to know what I'm talking about, when they would tell me stuff. And I didn't understand what the hell they were talking about back then, because I used to think, what are you talking about? I know what I'm doing because it's my choice. I know what the consequences are because I have made mistakes before. But it's nothing like how you would imagine what they would mean until you actually, I'm sorry, it's true. You really don't know what the hell your parents are saying until you get a lot older. Like, a lot, I mean by like maybe in your 20s. Like, it took me a long time to understand what people were saying when they say you're too young to have a boyfriend, you're too young to have sex, you're too young to do this and that. And it's true, there are certain things that require a certain mindset that needs to be obtained in your older years in order for you to understand the consequences, or in order to understand what you need to do to fix that problem that you might have. And that could be sex, like maybe getting pregnant. What the heck would you do, you know, if like your girlfriend or if you got pregnant at the age of 13? How would you take care of that? Your life hasn't even started. Everybody should have their own life before they get settled down if they'd like. So how would you do that, you know, like there'd be consequences that you wouldn't know how to deal with, and your parents would be like in your face saying, I told you so, and that would suck asshole, right? That would suck. And when they keep saying you're too young, it may offend you, and you might say, why do they keep saying that to me? Fuck, that's so annoying. Well, they have experienced a lot more than you have. Like your parents, obviously, right? They've done a lot of stuff during their teenage years, or even childhood years, and young adult life. And of course they know more. Of course they know what would happen if you got into a fight with a bunch of people in a public place. As for you, you wouldn't know what that would be like if you've never done it. Or what would it be like to get married? That's a huge one. You don't know what would it be like to get a job. You don't know that when you're a teenager, unless you do have like a part-time job or something and you help out, then that's cool. But there still are a lot of things that not everybody will know about or understand even, because everybody's different. Like, everything you go through is different. And yes, sometimes your parents are wrong when they say you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're going through when you have gone through sex, maybe. Like, they're trying to tell you, like, use a condom and don't do that, you're gonna get this. And you're like, oh, I know the consequences, and so you're using a condom, right? And then they're just like, no, you don't know what you're doing. But you're like, I do. Maybe you're a little bit more mature than people for your age. And then that's not their fault, because they're just being parents. They just want to help you out. They just want to be there for you and warn you and hopefully keep you away from harm. That's their job. That's what they love doing too. It's like their little volunteer job to have like a bunch of little yous. Yeah, stuff like that. So you can't blame them for caring. And you also can't blame them, especially if you haven't even told them anything about your life. That's why they keep assuming that you don't know anything and that you don't understand anything. And a good way to solve that relationship with your parents, or to make it better, or to mend it even, talk to them. Like, your parents are going to be your best friends. I'm not even joking. And it sucks to see all these teenagers grow apart from their parents just because the parents keep saying you're too young, or the kids rebelling and saying, no, I'm not too young, I do know what I'm talking about, and then therefore they don't talk. And it's true, that happens to like everybody. It's happened to me before, trust me. I've gotten into many fights with my mom, and even my dad, and we've had many talks as well. But that's what a relationship is, not even just with your parents, but with like significant others. Like, I'm not gonna get into that because this is more focused on you guys and where you're at right now. So I know what you guys are going through when people say you're too young, but don't be offended. Don't be offended. Take it as like a learning experience or a chance to even understand what they're gonna say or what they had said. So don't be that kid or that teenager or that person who says, oh, I already know everything, you don't have to tell me. Be like that smart ass kind of personality. Like, that won't get you anywhere. I'm gonna tell you straight up, it will not get you anywhere. No friends, it'll be harder for you in school. Your social life would be like destroyed, and it'd be really hard to get a job with that kind of attitude. So unless maybe there's some jobs, some workplaces that would accept you for that, I guess, because they want that. I don't know. But anything. Anyways, we also get offended because we think that they mean we're stupid when they say you don't understand or you're too young. Like, we often tend to think that, like, oh, that means they think we're stupid. They're undermining me. They're not giving me what I deserve, the chance that I have, or something, or I don't know, something like that. Just seems unfair. Like, it's unfair. Like, just because I'm young, you think I don't get anything. You think I don't understand anything. Well, that's not completely true. Maybe some adults say it out of anger, like, you're stupid. You don't know shit. You know, that happens to some people. I'm sorry if that happened to you ever. Like, that's not fair at all. But usually your parents don't mean it when they say you don't get it, you don't understand yet. That's why they add the yet in there, because they know you will one day. And it's not that time. Like, there's a time and place for everything, okay? Like, it's true. You're not gonna just like do everything when you're 13, and you're not gonna do just everything when you're 20 or even 25 yet, or even 30. There's still so many things in life to do, even when you're like 80. So don't even worry about it when people say you're too young. Just take it as like a, okay, you think I'm too young. Don't get offended. Just be like, why? Have a conversation about it. Maybe they change their minds once they see how mature you actually are, or what you have to say. And people just judge your age based on the way you act, and sometimes the way you look, truthfully, yeah. And the way you talk to people. If you're gonna behave in a very immature way, then they're gonna assume that you're a kid, and they're not gonna take you as seriously. You want to be like treated as however you want to be treated, then you have to act that way. But if it makes you feel uncomfortable, you don't have to act that way. And that's just how it is. I know. It just really is. But I'm sure we've all heard that phrase, you're too young to understand. You don't know yet. And it's true, we don't know yet. I didn't know a lot of things that I thought I did. Honestly, I really didn't. Until I kept experiencing, until I kept learning, until I kept talking about it. And that's how you really do learn stuff and get familiar with things. So it's not a bad thing that life is a learning process. It really is. It's okay. It's okay to not understand everything. Like, if you understood everything, then that's creepy. I'm sorry, but that's creepy. So, hope you guys get what I'm trying to say, and remember, just don't get offended. Don't. It's not meant to be offensive in most contexts. It really isn't. But if it's from some meanie poo that you know, then yeah, okay. Maybe it's offensive, and just tell them how you feel. So yeah, always talk to your parents. Be close with them, because they're going to be your best friends. Listen to them, because they don't tell you certain things to try to hurt your feelings or to try to harm you or to ruin your life. Okay? At least most parents shouldn't do that, okay? Alright. Well, goodbye.